Thank you very much, Patreon gang. Big up, big time styley.
Find you. There he is.
Hey, Jake is not happy.
Come up, Jake!
Oh, there's another 70.
Ah, f you, bitch! F you! F you! Get shit on, you bitch!
Clip it.
I wish that was clip. Yeah.
I'm clipping it, dude. F that guy. What's up, gamers? It's TreesapJake here with yet another video, and this video I wanted to talk about something that should help you get that epic flying as quickly as possible. This is something that I have learned about, that I've discovered just by going out and trying it myself, exploring the world, finding things out. That's what I love about this game, is just learning things for myself. And this is a little trick to help you grind those primals, the primal fire, primal earth, primal water, primal air that you need to sell on the auction house, the more expensive ones, so you can get the gold needed to get your epic flying. And this is a little trick, or at least a little place that I've found that is actually insane. Now, what I wanted to talk about in particular is not a sort of place where there's loads and loads of one of the types, you know, like, for example, there's loads of primal mana up north in the Blades Edge Mountains, or loads of primal water down near in Warcraft Forest, but instead it is a place where you can get all kinds of primals, and you can cycle through them and never feel bored. So let's get into it. The place in particular I'm talking about is actually a questing zone in Shadowmoon Valley. And what I like about it is that it's in a sort of little arc, so it's very easy to get there, even with your ground mount, even with your regular 60% flying mount. It's very easy to get there, and it's very easy to move about with. And what I love about it is that I don't feel bored. Now, one of the big things about grinding primals is feeling bored, but also the competition. Now, as we know, Elemental Plateau has for years, even back in the regular TBC, as well as now, is a place of high contest. There's a lot of people fighting, a lot of people sort of basically killing each other over resources, which is great fun, but not so great if you're in a constant state of panic, stress, whilst trying to grind some money, and you want it to be simple. So I have found a simpler solution, and a place that I really like. It's a questing area near around the Hand of Gul'dan, the big mountain that's in the middle of Shadowmoon Valley, that stretches all the way up towards the Netherwing quest line, and then on the other side up to the Naga near the north side of the Shadowmoon Valley, in a sort of little arcing area. And I think what's really great about it is that you can basically fight different types of elementals, and because there's quite a lot of them and it's quite a vast zone, there is a lot of space for you to get them. The only issue you may run into is that it is a questing zone, and that means that there are people doing quests there, but there are also people grinding. People have also noticed what I've noticed, people that have just generally come across it when they were questing for themselves in Shadowmoon Valley. It is a great place to grind primals, and one of the reasons why, not only because there's a vast amount of them, but because of the respawn times. And something I noticed, especially the primal water and the primal air, is that sometimes they will randomly respawn again, and this is great. It means that you get a lot of respawns very quickly, even though there's, you know, not that many of them, but more respawns mean more chances to get motes of air, motes of fire, etc, everything you could need to make primals. And what I noticed is that depending on, you know, your drop chance and whether you're lucky or not, you could easily get a primal air or a primal fire in about 10 minutes, maybe less. And that was great. So in essence, if you could get a primal air or a primal fire in 10 minutes, times that by 6 to get 60 minutes, that's an hour. That is, if my maths is correct, 6 times on my server, it's about 35 gold. So 6 times 3, you know, that's about 180 plus, maybe almost 200 gold per hour. That's pretty good, I think, especially if you're not like a big grinding machine like a mage or something else like that. It's fairly decent for, you know, depending on the prices that you are on your server. And I think that's a really great way of grinding out some money if you don't want to do other places, or you don't have the AoE potential to basically do that. If you're like a, you know, like a shaman or something like that, or a warrior, and you want to grind something, this is the perfect place for you. On top of the actual primals that you got as well, there was quite a lot of drops of greens, and sometimes you get random green drops, but also you would get elemental fragments and primordial matter, these sort of items, these grey items that when stacked together in stacks of 20, which was very easy to get, would sell for about 2 gold, 50 silver, something like that. The greens as well would sell for about 4 to 5 gold. So on top of the 35 to 40 gold that you'd get from the actual primals, you get quite a lot from the greens and the random grey bits that you got from them as well, which was quite nice. So not only were you actually grinding the primals for the money, but the greys that they dropped, the other bits that they dropped that weren't moats, also gave you quite a bit, which really helps up fleshing out the wallet. So what I've done is that you'll see on the screen now is that I've kind of charted out a course of which I usually take, starting with the Primal Airs down near the Nether Wings, going up to the Primal Fires. I tend to ignore the Primal Earth that are also in the Primal Fire area, mostly because they're not very expensive, they're not very good on my server. I wouldn't bother. I would much rather do it with the Primal Fire, and then I move up towards the Primal Water in the north. And essentially, you have a vast range of everything you can do. The only issue I have with this is, again, as I said, the quests that come into the area, although there's not that many, which is awesome. But the main thing that I get from it is the fact that it depends on what class you are. Now, as a mage, I really struggle sometimes with the Primal Fire if I'm in Fire Spec, because I have to basically spam Frostbolt, which isn't fun when you're not in Frostspec, sorry, because you're just pressing an ability that has no buffs or anything. The cast time is long and it just feels weak. The same again when you're Frostspec and you're farming Primal Water, because again, you can't actually spam Frostbolt, which is nice and fast and does a lot of damage. Instead, you're spamming Fireball, which is a long cast, no slows, no nothing, and that's just a bit annoying. So there's some swings and roundabouts with it, but that's just being mage, for example. But for any other class, it's a perfect place to do it. Something that's also really good, and obviously you may have seen from my intro sketch, is that sometimes you do get ganked in this place, and some people will be brave. But most of the time, they're level 68s to level 69s doing quests, which is great, because if you want to, you get some free honor, which is always fun if you're Horde. But if not, they're never going to actually gank you when you're level 70. And also, if you're looking like you've got gear, whether that's tier 4 or any of the big sort of raid pieces or even arena pieces or battleground pieces, honor pieces, they're never going to mess with you, because why would they? They're definitely not going to ruin their time, especially on a PvP server. It's great. If you're on a PvE server, of course, there's not much you can really do about it, but at least in a PvP server, you can actually kick the crap out of people that are trying to take your primals if you needed to, and that's always great. But in essence, it's not a contested spot. Especially the Primal Air spot is not contested whatsoever, and that's what I love about it. So, in essence, in summary, that's pretty much the best place I've found. There are probably other places, but the reason why I like this place more is because the range of the primals are there. So, depending on how the market fluctuates, you can change what you want to go for, and I think that's awesome. I'd much rather spend my time in Shadow Moon Valley doing that than going up to Blaze Edge for looking for Primal Mana and then have to fly all the way to a different place to get this one. That's just long-winded. Instead, I'm in a really great place, getting great primal, great money, if I can't AoE farm, for example, but it's just a really great place that I've discovered. So hopefully that's helped you. Let me know if you get your epic flying from doing this. Let me know if you enjoy the spot. Let me know if on your server it's really contested or whether it's actually just completely and totally free. I'd love to know. It would really help me out. But otherwise, guys, if you want to support the channel, please continue to like the videos. Please subscribe. It really helps. Click that subscribe button. I'd love for you to join the community. Join my Discord as well. Let's get more and more people in there. Support me on Patreon if you're feeling really, really generous. But otherwise, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.